It's not easy dealing with someone who is consistent in their immoral and unethical behavior. We all aren't perfect, that is certain. And sometimes, on a few occasions, we have been known to do something that does hurt someone else. We may ignore the fact that we have hurt someone else or that what we are doing is hurting someone because maybe sometimes we just don't realize. But when it is brought to our attention, or when we do realize after the fact, we feel bad and we try to stop the hurting of someone else, even coming to the individual weeks or months later. We do try to make up for the wrong by making it right somehow. While nothing will take away the pain, we can help alleviate the pain by gaining ground by proving our loyalty and our trustworthiness. But what about someone who is not sorry? What about those people who consistently show questionable behavior on a regular basis? What is it with these people that they have to resort to dishonesty, manipulation, and greed and unscrupulous tactics? Why do they treat others with contempt and seem to get away with it? Well, they are abusive in every way, yes. And they seem to get a high out of hurting innocent people. This is so frustrating. Psychologists have actually studied specific personality traits that, although they are not certain as to where these traits originate from, they have pinpointed them down to show that there might be a predisposition to someone having behaviors that hurt others. Oh, really? Well, we know this in narcissism. However, there is some traits that are darker than narcissism, as these behaviors are seen with specific patterns of harmful behavior that are extremely telling within this spectrum of narcissism. For those of us who do not research patterns of behaviors, because we're not psychologists and we just don't have time to make this a study, we may just chalk these unethical, immoral behaviors to people as being evil. Yes, they are evil, dark, and sinister. However, understanding the behavior can help us understand that rehabilitating these people and using our love in the form of enabling and codependency to help someone who is of a dark factor personality is just an exercise in futility. Seriously. You cannot rescue someone from themselves when their core being is sinister and dark. Only God can do that, my friends, and He wants to, and He's willing to, but that's His business. Our job is to recognize the evil ones and heal from their abusive behavior so that we can let love in within us to shine. Hi, my name is Shannon Gilmore, and in this video, I would like to talk to you about the core behavior behind narcissism and the varying traits of narcissism as we deal with the dark triad, malignant narcissism, covert, overt narcissism, and the many other different subtypes of narcissistic personality disorder. I stumbled on this behavior while not realizing I was looking for something specific and understanding some core behaviors in someone that I know. This person seemed to want to help me, but there's a price in helping me, as helping me has become manipulating me into a false sense of hope and promise of a future endeavor that would help me out of the bind that I'm in. That future endeavor never happened, and I couldn't figure out why this individual was not pursuing this endeavor to help me benefit as it would benefit them too. Why would this person suffer just to see me suffer? This goes beyond future faking, my friends. So what was going on as this behavior to me didn't seem narcissistic at the beginning. Oh, I saw qualities of narcissism, but something was deeper, something deeper going on that was darker. It turns out there is a malevolence within narcissism that goes deep. And that malevolence is a type of narcissism, yes. But I mean, if you have never experienced this level of hate that is in your face, but not really, this personality is the just kidding in those gaslighting moments that leave you wondering, why would they do that? Just why? We already know the why because evil people are evil people. But what makes an evil person an evil person? We know that too. Genetics and predisposition and rearing somebody up in evil ways. Someone's physical and spiritual upbringing, these all play a role in how bad the behavior, the character of someone really gets. But ultimately, it's up to God. He knows who are his and he knows who are not his. Right from before we are conceived. Now, evil behavior is evil behavior, and it can be found throughout cultures, races, classes, and sexes. And I can give you a skinny on this, but now is not the video. I don't want to go into the why and how someone is created to be a dark personality. I just want to call this personality out and address it to help you understand it so you can see it and deal with it in a way that helps bring healing and hope to you. Now, dark behavior isn't predicated on religious views. Dark traits are linked to patterns of behavior that include Machiavellianism, psychopathy, and narcissism. These three traits make up what is known as the dark triad. However, determining how or determining who has dark traits and how severe isn't that simple. As the more narcissism is discovered, the more psychologists research the core dynamics within the dark personality, the more they discover, and it's not pretty. The dark factor of personality has basic principles that underlie its traits, and this helps researchers to better identify adverse traits that help to understand the core dynamics of this dark personality. What this means is that someone who has been diagnosed with narcissism may also express psychopathy. Well, that much we ourselves do know. But what we don't commonly know is that there are other specific traits that may accompany these two personality traits, such as Machiavellianism, egoism, greed, sadism, spitefulness, and amoral behavior, and on and on and on. Think of the dark factor of personality as being an umbrella, as other personality disorders fall under this category, just like narcissism can be thought of being as an umbrella, and there's comorbidity, meaning that there's other behaviors that sit underneath this umbrella, such as bipolar, schizophrenia, borderline personality disorder, antisocial, sociopath, psychopathy. So this all sounds really confusing, I know, and that's the reason for this video, to break this down so it's less confusing for you. The dark factors of personality, or D, yes, it's just the letter D. The letter D, or D for short, describes the ruthless pursuit of one's own interests while disregarding the interests and potential harm of others. And these ruthless pursuits are then justified so that these behaviors can continue. Well, that sounds really dark, doesn't it? Yeah. Hence the reason why psychologists are describing D as the dark factor of personality. Have you ever had someone tell you, well, I wouldn't have said this if you didn't say that. I wouldn't have done that if you didn't do that. Yeah, that's what justification looks like. And we add justifications to our reasonings of why we do things in the first place. And narcissists often justify their actions and their thinking to avoid consequence, as they blame shift to avoid taking responsibility for what they say and do. Now, we all know malevolent behaviors, as chances are you've experienced one too many malevolent narcissists, right? Their behavior is mean, nasty, tyrannical, and insidious. And we seemingly have to put up with their bullying, their cheating, their intimidation, the insults, the exploitations, the harassing behavior, the humiliation, the lying, the manipulating, the stealing, the threats, the torture, as malignant narcissists are constantly abusive. The D, or dark factor personality within all of these malignant behaviors, is the core nature of dark personality, as it's goal-orientated, meaning that narcissists and people of the dark personality will pursue behaviors that will offer them benefit at the cost of others, such as lying, cheating, manipulating. And at the extreme perspective of these behaviors, the individual will take pleasure in the experience of others' discomfort and pain. They are even aroused, yes, sexually, as they take pleasure in someone else's pain. It may give them some joy, some happiness, or tantalize their insides to the point where they do become sexually aroused. They will manipulate just to see someone squirm. They may laugh and smirk, trying hard to hold in their joy, and they will try not to burst out in laughter because they know it's bad behavior. But secretly, they are trying to hide their contempt, as they are content inside at your demise. They are happy to see you fall down, and they are joyful at seeing your emotional breakdown, as that gives them that thrill. The D personality will not express pleasure for someone else's gain. The D personality will not express pleasure for someone else's gain or pleasure, but instead they express the opposite. They will be so pleased at the thought of you getting hurt. They will be so pleased at seeing you get hurt, and they will be pleased at seeing you come emotionally unglued. So watch out for those triggers. Don't allow yourself to be triggered. The dark personality cannot be happy for anyone else, and they will not help someone for the sake of seeing someone prosper and get ahead. They will not help the individual to benefit in any way. They will help only when it offers them personal benefit and gain. Yeah, they're selfish just like that. The D personality has to justify their actions to maintain their image. So if it appears like they are helping you, that's great and fine, but they're helping you for their own motives that linger behind the scenes, that other people can't see, that other people don't know. And they will justify their actions to maintain their image regardless of their malevolent behavior. They will manipulate to steer you away from ever seeing that malevolent behavior. They see the world as competition, and they see individuals and groups as inferior to them. So many of these narcissists who are male are, yes, misogynist, even though they appear to love women. Now, for example, someone with a D factor personality may view women beneath them simply because she will never earn as much money as he does. Or maybe she emasculated him in some way in his youth, and so now he naturally hates women as he views himself as inferior to them. Or maybe it's just that a male figure sees women as naturally weak, so they are naturally inferior. It can be said that the dark factor of personality, or D, expresses a characteristic of single-mindedness, as there is a callousness in achieving greatness at the expense of others. With this personality, people are dispensable, meaning that the people who have dark D personalities believe that other people are dispensable. As individuals of the personality known as D, they assume superiority and selfishness. They don't assume it, they believe that they are superior and they are selfish in their arrogance and superiority. This dark trait, like narcissism, does have varying degrees within this personality, so it makes it kind of confusing. But simply put, no two people who express the D personality are alike. However, at the core, it's as rotten as it gets. And we can see some basic antisocial tendencies that include narcissism, Machiavellianism, moral disengagement, psychopathy, superiority, sadism, and spitefulness. Within these behavioral traits, there are three deeper traits that are at the core of the people who suffer from D personality. People with dark factor personality will often say or do almost anything to get what they want from other people. They will lie, cheat, and steal to get what they want from you. And it doesn't matter if it hurts you or hurts others. Number two, they will purposely do things to other people in the way of interfering with someone's goals, and they will hurt someone physically and or emotionally on purpose just to gain the upper hand, as they believe others are undeserving of greatness, and that the dark D personalities, they are entitled to get anything and everything that they want. Number three, they often will seek revenge in ways that is damaging and harmful to other people, with disregard to what that damage might do. So what can you do when confronted with this dark personality factor behavior, or D? Go gray rock. Treat them as you would any narcissist, because that is basically what they are, just on the extreme spectrum. Evil behavior is evil behavior, and you can't fix evil behavior. Only God can do that, if He wants to. All you can do is to keep yourself safe by becoming aware of these three basically important factors when dealing with the dark spectrum of a deep, dark personality. You don't want to get caught in the crosshairs of the dark factor personality traits, because it is something that catches you off guard, and you end up playing right into their hands and doing their bidding and doing their will. The person who has the D factor personality, their empathy is non-existent, as it's been replaced with callousness and sadistic behavior. Understand what sadistic behavior is. It's malicious, and it's beyond comprehension. Just because someone is unassuming and they look kind, don't let your guard down. Not everyone is nurturing and caring, And yes, the narcissist can appear to be nurturing and caring, but it's for their benefit, not for yours. So the best thing that you can do is to look out for you. Put an end to this behavior by understanding what it is, and guard yourself and protect yourself against this in ways that sets you free by implementing those healthy boundaries, going gray rock. Don't give your emotional power away. That is the only way we are going to survive, because this dark factor exists in every undesirable personality, and it cannot be changed. You cannot love a person enough or understand them enough to help them out of their misery. Misery loves company, and the immoral and unethical behavior of the individual is a miserable individual who desires to make you just as miserable as they are, so that they don't feel miserable. So rescuing someone out of their misery is not an option, my friends. The only option you have is to understand this behavior, to recognize it so that you can disentangle your emotions from it, as this is what sets you free. Love yourself enough to break free by discovering that the only way to love is first finding it within yourself. See the love that's in you, as this is important to see the unloving ways in others so you can identify what love is and what it isn't. Now, it's not easy dealing with an unethical and immoral person. I get that. And we all make mistakes, and we do hurt people, those we care about. Sometimes this just happens. However, by doing better, we become better. And by being better, we do better. And this allows us to take responsibility by saying sorry with our actions. But the actions of the evildoer is not sorry, and never will be sorry. And because of that, they can't change. In this video, I hope I have made it clear to you that your responsibility is not with the evil person. You have a responsibility with and for yourself, to heal yourself by understanding the evil behavior so that you can set yourself free from the trauma bonding trap the narcissist plagues us with in our hearts and our minds, our body, and our souls. My name is Shannon Gilmore. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel, as I have more videos like this ready for you to watch and learn from, to help you become better, to allow you to have a better tomorrow in freedom and health. Much love to you. Be blessed.